Welcome to the Brown University School of Engineering information session for our Masters of Science programs. A couple quick logistics notes. We are sharing this presentation in webinar format, which means we're not going to be able to see you on your cameras, and we also won't be able to hear you. All of the information that we're sharing with you is being recorded. And I also wanted to go over that we are not having a chat function. Instead, all of the questions should be coming in through the Q&A. And I'll go over that in detail in just another minute. So I think we're going to go ahead and kick things off. And I hope everyone who's making their way over here has had a chance to get here. So to start out, I want to do introductions. My slides are not advancing, Esther. Did you change the host capabilities?
Nope, you're still sharing your screen.
Okay. Well, this is giving everyone a chance to have another minute to join us. Let me reshare. All right, well, we're going to work out this little technical glitch with our slides not advancing. But in the meantime, thank you everyone for joining us, and just give us another minute here to work this out, and then we're going to kick things off. Okay, this should take care of it. Great. All right, we are in business. So thank you again, everyone, for joining us. I'm Jennifer Casasanto. I'm the Associate Dean in the School of Engineering, and we have a great group of faculty here with us tonight, including Professor Eric Chasin, who's our Director of Graduate Studies, Professor Harvey Silverman, who is our Director of Graduate Advising for our Electrical and Computer Engineering Master's Program, and Professor Marissa Gray, who also is a Director of Graduate Advising for the Biomedical Engineering Program. So you're going to be hearing from all of them tonight. And then just a quick logistics, you can submit questions anytime throughout this presentation. And if you look at the bottom of your Zoom display, there's a toolbar that says Q&A, and that is where we're going to be taking questions. And just a note, while I can't see those questions while I am presenting, I have my team here and they're monitoring the questions. And we do have time after we go through our initial set of slides where any questions that get submitted that we'd like to address for the whole group, we're going to go through each of those and answer those. Okay, so in our presentation today, we're going to be covering our program structure, including the areas of study, some curricular highlights, and the tracks in each of our programs. And we're also going to go over a few sample course plans to give you an idea what it might look like to study here. We're also going to go over some of the logistic details, including our application deadlines, some tips for your personal statement and letters of recommendation. And then, as I said, we're going to be saving time for our Q&A at the end. So we're going to be going over 6 Masters of Science degree programs here tonight. All of these are offerings within the School of Engineering at Brown University. And these programs include our Biomedical Engineering degree, our Chemical and Environmental Engineering degree, our Electrical and Computer Engineering degree, our Fluid and Thermal Sciences degree, our materials science, and our mechanics of solids degree. And each of these programs also have a corresponding PhD program, and these all represent areas of our graduate research and our faculty research in the School of Engineering. So what you can expect from our programs, almost all of our programs have a fall start. So the next start date for this application cycle will be fall 2021. And applications are open now for that application cycle. The programs vary in length, but they all run between 1 and 2 years. And the majority of them, the timeline is 1.5 years to complete. So that's 1 full academic year, a fall and spring semester, and then another fall semester. That's pretty much the shortest time to complete in. And then the majority of the master's programs actually do complete in 2 years, which is 2 full academic years, 2 falls, 2 springs. So now I'm going to hand things over to Professor Harvey Silverman. He is the head of our Electrical and Computer Engineering Master's Program, and he's going to go over some details of that program. Harvey?
Oh, thank you. Could you go to the next slide? We don't need to keep that one up. Change it over.
Yes, my slide advancing stopped again.
Oh my.
I'm not sure why that is getting hung up. This must be a Zoom issue.
Oh my.
It's
Well,
not a PowerPoint. It's okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to exit out of here and then come back to it. And your first slide, Harvey, was about how each student makes a custom plan of study and meets
Yeah,
with their advisor.
okay. Yeah, we have a very simple form that we talk with each student and go over that a form with them, which is very simple, easy to fill out, which spells out a 3 or a 4 semester program. And what we do is get that form in, and it can be changed to anything else at any time as you go along. But at least we have some idea that you're on a track to complete and graduate with what you need to get the degree. Our goal is to give you the degree. It's not to prevent you from getting it. So we make certain that you don't go off track. And that's the most important thing that we'll do with this form and with everything else. So if we ever get to this.
Here's your form.
Yay,
Here
there's
it
the
is.
form. You can see how easy it is. You put your name down, you say which option you have, and sort of the plan for the course. And this can be changed anytime. And typically in our area, I would be the one to sign off on it, and it would go into the computers and whatever, and we then take it from there. Next slide, please. Please.
Oh, gosh. You know, and I'm sorry, I'm going to have to exit out and reload it. I think what's happening is when I mute my microphone, somehow it's interfering with Zoom. It's making me stop being the host for a minute, and I get locked out of slide advancing.
Keep your
I've never
microphone
seen
on.
it. So I'm going to stop sharing and do this again. I'm sorry to be a bit repetitive on kicking myself out and getting back into the.
Believe it or not, we teach lots of courses remotely, but I've never done a webinar, so. We get there? No.
Not yet.
Well.
Yep.
Normally in my courses, this is the time I would tell a joke.
All right, let's try it again. Okay, I've got it.
Yeah, here we go. All right, so here we have in electrical and computer engineering, we have 3 different options or tracks. Typically, the non-thesis option, which we strongly recommend, you can do it in 3 semesters and take the courses 332, or you can take the thesis option, in which case you have to get an advisor to work with you, in which case you take 332 and then do a research project, typically going into a 4th semester. And finally, the professional option, which allows students, particularly students from outside the country who want to do something in the summertime and get an internship and still be on the visa that they're students. So it's really the non-thesis option with a professional, with the ability to do an internship. Next slide, please. So the 3-semester course, you're taking 8 full courses. 332, as I said, you complete this in 1.5 years. You have a summer to do something. You can take the professional option with that program and do something over the summer as well at some kind of a job. And our students have done very well in getting those jobs. On the other hand, you can meet out your courses any way you like 3221 or 2222 over the 4 semesters. You pay the same thing for both programs. It's just a matter of how long you want to take to do the courses and what you need to do to continue after you finish with the degree. Next slide, please. Typically, if you're going to do the thesis option, you have the first semester and a half to make that decision and arrange for an advisor. And it's a wonderful thing. It's a great experience, especially if you're going into a PhD program. It gives you some experience in writing a thesis. Next slide, please. Again, it's 8 courses. Our program in electrical and computer engineering requires that you take 2 of them as mathematical courses. We can talk about the various levels, but there are courses that are beyond typically what you would take as an undergraduate. Then you take 3 courses at in electrical engineering or computer engineering, and then you can take 3 additional courses at the upper level undergraduate or at the graduate level to round out the program. And those can be choices. And a lot of our students in ECE will be taking very fine computer science courses. Next, please. Here's a typical program. Typical program here, and this is for last year. You take, this is a 3-2-2-2 course. So there's a thesis option on the left. I guess we got the thesis ones all there. And there should be a non-thesis one there somewhere. And I don't see the non-thesis one. Okay, 3 additional courses. So that's, there's the non-thesis option. You take, once again, 3 courses, as you see in our case, Engine 2530, signal processing, and another 2000 level course the next semester. And then typically a 3rd course. A lot of people take C++. A lot of people will take we have beautiful courses in machine learning and courses in robotic kind of stuff. There's all kinds of wonderful courses to take at the engineering 2000 level, which is the graduate level. And you can also take a 2980, which is a special project. Even as a non-thesis person, you can also take 1 course in reading and research and work with a faculty member for a semester. And that would count as one of the outside courses, not one of the basic 2000 level courses in engineering. I think that's pretty much it for what I put in here.
Yeah, thank you, Harvey.
Mhm.
So we wanted to give you a sense of a sampling of recent electrical and computer engineering graduates. And when we have students leave Brown, we do survey them and ask them what companies they're going to. And as recently, you can probably recognize a lot of these companies: Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google, Intel, and then companies that also are really big technology companies, but aren't pure software, like Johnson & Johnson, some of the national labs like the Jet Propulsion Lab, or some other companies that are more traditional, but really emphasize technology, like Owens Corning. So these are some really great companies we have great recruiting relationships with, and our students end up getting into really great positions. So I'm going to turn it over to Professor Marissa Gray now, who is going to talk in more detail about our biomedical engineering program. Marissa?
Yep, great. Thank you, Jennifer. So I just want to give you a quick overview of our biomedical engineering master's program. Just to give you an idea of the size, we currently have 47 students in our program, and they're from a variety of backgrounds. So we typically require an engineering degree or a degree in a quantitative science like physics, computer science, or something similar. If you have any questions about if your background qualifies you for the BME master's program, you can just, of course, let me know and message me. So some key aspects of our program is that students are able to customize their curriculum. So depending upon the tracks that you take, which I will go over in just a minute, students can take 5 to 8 structured courses, and there aren't any specific course requirements. We do have requirements in general, like you have to take a certain number of engineering courses and a certain number of biology courses, but you are free to make course selections that focus on your research or your career interests. And of course, your academic advisor and research advisor can help you plan those courses. We also have advisor diversity, so you can choose between hospital or department-based labs. And there's also an option for all of the tracks to engage in our co-op program, which I'll also be talking about in a minute. So to go over our 3 tracks, we have a research track, which is more of your traditional master's program, where you take 5 structured courses, and then you can take up to 3 independent lab-based research credits, in which you will engage with a in-depth research project with a dedicated lab and a research advisor. So a lot of our labs are very, in biomedical engineering, are very clinical based. So that's why, some of them can be hospital based and some of them are department based. So the design track is similar, and that is a thesis track, as well as the research track is thesis. The point of this track, though, is to delve into a design project. Again, most of our design projects, we work with clinicians as well as academic advisors. And for the design track, you would take 5 structured courses, and again, up to 3 design experience-based courses. The design track can be team-based or individual-based. And like I say here in the bullet point, we do really try to pair clinicians with these projects to make them more real world. And then, of course, we have the non-thesis track, which is 8 structured courses. We do have part-time options if you are working full-time and are interested in a part-time option. Of the non-thesis track is probably the way to go. Or you could do, usually I recommend the other 2 tracks, so the research or the design track for the master's program. But if you have industry experience or are already in industry, the non-thesis track may be the way to go. Whereas the research and design tracks are 2-year programs, the non-thesis track could be 2 or 3 semesters. Now, we have different, I just want to touch very quickly just the different research pillars that we have. We have folks doing neuroengineering and neurotechnology, biosensors and bioplatforms, mechanical biology, including biomechanics and orthopedic biomechanics, different tissue regeneration, and tissue engineering fields, such as developing soft tissues, vessels, drug delivery mechanisms, and we also have integrative biomaterials as well. So if you could boil down our research into different pillars, this would be it, but we do lots of different things in biomedical engineering. All right, and so really quickly to go through our co-op program. So like I said before, all tracks have the option for experiential learning. We actually have a co-op director, Dr. Tony Marie Achille, that helps you place into co-ops. So you are able to earn a salary and gain industry experience for 1 semester. This could tack on more time to your program. However, if you plan ahead, it might not. So usually we want you to decide if you're going to do a co-op within the first semester, definitely within the first 2 semesters. And here are just some companies that we have great partnerships with that we can usually place students in co-op positions. All right, and lastly, many of our BME master's graduates have gone into great companies. You can see them all here. There's some familiar companies to you, like BD, Amgen, GE Healthcare, but then there's also some smaller, more niche companies as we get into, neuro type companies and drug delivery type companies as well. So yeah, I think I will toss it back to Jennifer now.
Thanks. Oh,
Oh.
and you want to say just something quickly about the graduate programs that students place into?
Yes, yeah, sorry, I forgot about this slide. So yes, so of course, for the master's, it also can be used as a stepping stone to the PhD program. And some of our master students who went on to PhD programs went to these different schools.
Great, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go through some of the details of the application requirements. What makes a great candidate for our engineering Masters of Science degrees? So academic readiness, really demonstrating the strong math and engineering backgrounds. Your research and work experience, well, these aren't required, but if you have them, we would like to hear about it. And it would be great to understand also if those are related to engineering or the area that you intend to study in. Then we would like to know about your goals for why you want to do graduate work at Brown University. And you can go into this in your statement of purpose. And then for the letters of reference, we really would like to get, each of you submit 3 letters of reference. So we get thousands and thousands of letters of reference sent to us every application season. And what makes a really good letter of reference is if your letter writer is giving some detailed comparison information. That really makes a letter of reference stand out. So if they can say you were 5th in your class, or that you were the first student that they worked with, who both got on a patent and was a first author in a paper. Something that says specifically in a metrics-based way how you compare to others in your class, or how you compare to others that the letter writer has advised. Those are really great ways to make a very strong letter of reference. And then, of course, because this is engineering, Masters of Science and Engineering programs, we really look for strong backgrounds in mathematics, statistics, and programming are all great things for us to see. So the application requirements, I'll go over these quickly. These are all on our website, of course. We're going to need your official transcripts, your CV or resume. You're going to be writing a personal statement, 3 letters of recommendation, and then your 2 sets of test scores, your language test for international students or students who speak English as a second language, and then your GRE scores. For the personal statement, a few tips for everyone. I know this can be tough, and since you're completing your undergraduate work right now, oftentimes it's a really busy time. But if you can begin early and draft out your personal statement and then put it down and come back to it, reread it, have someone else read it. I think personal statements can really get better if you give yourself time to write them and revisit them. And some of the things that we like to hear and extrapolate out of your personal statement is, why are you interested in engineering graduate study? Why now? Maybe what are your academic or career goals? And then we also want to really emphasize your personal statement is also, we consider that to be a writing sample. So it really should be grammatically perfect with no errors, no proofreading errors or grammatical errors. So please reread it, have someone else read it with you. We really want this to shine as both a way for us to learn about you and a way for us to see some of your writing. For letters of recommendation, some of the tips these are really important tips, and when you ask someone to write a letter of recommendation for you, they're often writing letters of recommendation for many people. So as early as possible, can you ask them and let them know the deadline? It's really helpful when you're asking faculty to write a letter for you, to not only give them a lot of advance notice, but also send them reminders as you get close to the deadline, because they're often writing multiple of these. And then something really important is, when you ask someone to write a letter of recommendation, you should really be giving them your resume, and even if it's only a draft, give them a copy of your personal statement that you plan to use in your application, so they know what you're talking about and emphasizing in your application. So just a few notes here on both sets of test scores. We're not going to be able to accept the at-home version of the GRE exam. However, we do want you to apply. We're really excited that you are interested in studying with us here at Brown University. We hope to see all of your applications. And so if you live in a region where test centers are closed, we completely understand that. We are all living in a pandemic. If you are facing a circumstance like that, please, as you're starting out your application, communicate with us. There is a information email address in the application itself, and you can reach out to us and let us know if test centers are closed in your area. It may be possible to give you a waiver for your test scores. For the language tests, as this says, on all of this is on our website as well, either one of these 2 language tests are required for anyone who speaks English as a second language, and the TOEFL test is the one that we prefer. And here's some basic information about those 2 tests, and this information is also in our application page. So we have a couple more slides, and then we're going to go to your questions. Just to go over quickly the application deadlines, the biomedical engineering master's program, their deadline is going to be April 15th. And then the other of the 5 programs all have a deadline of February 1st as the preferred deadline. So we'd like to see you apply and get your application in by February 1st. And we're going to go through and do our first wave of admissions to everyone who applied by that deadline. And then we're going to continue with rolling admissions as space allows in each of our programs through May 15th. Then if we were not dealing with COVID-19 right now, we would hope that many of you could come visit us. And we do, as we go through each admission season this time of year, get many, many visitors coming to see our program. And one of the best things we can do when we have any prospective student visit is have them meet some of our current students. So I reached out to a few students and I got some notes from them to share with you that I hope gives you a sense of the kind of student who comes and studies for their master's degree at Brown University. So these are all from our engineering graduates. The best part of Brown was always the other students, amazing group of people with really diverse backgrounds and interests. Faculty advisors were amazing and great mentors to me. Research was really fun as well. I had a good experience because I was involved in a research project with several of my professors, and I got involved with a startup that really launched my career. Connecting to the broader Brown and RISD, which is Rhode Island School of Design, which is another university right next to our campus and is the leading design program in the entire world. So the Brown and RISD community was one of my favorite things about living in Providence, seeing some of the research and speaking to the researchers at Brown. So you can see, something really special about our program that not every master's program you consider will have is this ability to do research. And it's a really in-depth doing research side by side with our faculty, joining their research groups. If you decide to do the thesis track, getting to work on a research project with other graduate students, including PhD students and most likely postdoctoral students as well. And it's just a really exciting research experience that you can use to build up your CV and show that you've expanded your skills beyond the classroom. So I think that's something really special about our program. And the majority of students who come through our program do choose to do the research experience and go on to the thesis track. It's optional, but almost everyone does choose it. Okay, so here we're going to go into Q&As. And while we're doing the questions, I'm going to leave up this slide on how you can follow us and connect with us on social media. And I'm going to ask maybe Carolyn or Kathy, since I have my slides up, I can't see the Q&A, but do either one of you want to read a few questions that have come in, and then we can hand them out to either me, Marissa, Harvey, or Eric to answer, or all of us can answer.
We have not yet received any questions.
No, not yet.
Okay, that's fine. So maybe I will call on Eric Chasen, who is our Director of Graduate Studies. He is also here on the call with us, but we didn't have him presenting. And he, in his role, he oversees all of the graduate programs in the School of Engineering. So he has a really nice, very broad view of our program and gets to meet so many of our students. And maybe, Eric, you can just say a few words of welcome and encouraging our students to apply and hope that we see them here at Brown.
Okay, thanks, Jennifer. Hello, everybody.
so it's a little strange not being able to see anyone. Yeah, I just want to say welcome. We're excited to have you here. This means that you're interested in our master's programs. You know, as everybody's, I think, did a great job of presenting, you know, we've got a very vibrant master's program. It prepares you for a lot of different potential careers. And if, you know, if you've finished your undergraduate degree and you're thinking of getting more advanced study, a master's degree can be a great way to either get some learning in a new field where you haven't had a chance to, let's say, for instance, you did an undergraduate degree in one area and would like to know more about biomedical engineering, the master's is a great way to do that. Or if you want to do a career in a field that you've already studied in, but you want to have that extra bit of expertise so that you can you know, get a better job or look better when you get into the job market. Those are also good reasons for doing a master's program. So you know, we'll be glad to take any questions. Please ask us if you have any, but also you have our contact information. If you think of something after tonight that you want to talk about or ask us about, please do. Jennifer, did you, I didn't notice, did you say what time, when the deadlines were for the application?
Yeah, that's great. I'll go back. Well, I'm not going to go back to that slide right now, but just as a reminder, the biomedical engineering program has their deadline in April. And then our other 5 Masters of Science degree programs, we're asking that you apply by February 1st for a preferential review. We're going to be doing our first wave of admissions for all of the applicants who apply by that time. And then we're going to do rolling admissions through until May for as we have room in our programs. So thanks for that reminder, Eric.
Yeah, good. Thanks.
And maybe if we don't have a question on the Q&A, Carolyn Harris, our manager of student affairs, she sent me some questions that people asked in advance.
Actually, hold on. There is a question.
We do have one now.
It says, do you start reviewing applications only after the deadline?
So so we have, you know, 3 different directors of graduate studies here with us this evening. And each program reviews their applications together with the faculty in their areas, and they have their own systems. And so, you know, we don't really, that's somewhat internal to the School of Engineering, but we do read applications as they are completed. So if you have your application ready and you're just considering, should I click submit, but you know you have all your materials in, it is to your advantage to submit your application. If it is ready and you have all your materials in, go ahead and submit it. And we do read the applications, you know, pretty much in the order they were submitted. And we do appreciate when you send them in early. It helps us get through the, you know, that major load of applications we're getting all at the same time. So yes, if you have your application ready, go ahead and submit it and we will read it.
Jennifer, there's one other thing.
Yes.
We have a lot of applications that are partially completed. They're leaving something out and they're not completed, and we can't start on those. So it's really important that they get everything in so that we can start. As soon as they're completed, though, we will start reading them.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Professor Silverman. That's a really great tip. If you have everything in, but you have not clicked submit, that means we will not read your application. So we don't look at anything until it's completed. So please do get everything in, get all the pieces, your reference letters, everything, and click submit, and then we will be able to read your application. So how about I do a couple questions that were submitted in ahead of time, and then we'll give people a few minutes in case there's any other questions, and then maybe we'll start to wrap up in about 5 or 10 minutes. So one of the questions is, how many courses do I need to take? And Professor Silverman went over this really nicely, but just in shorthand, as you're thinking about our master's programs, you're pretty much always going to be taking 8 courses. And so the only variations in that is some of the requirements as far as which courses you're taking. And then also the tracks might give you an option to do an internship or a co-op, and those become a requirement of the program, or to do research, which then you take a special course that gives you credit for your time doing research in the lab. But the answer is pretty much 8 courses. And then how about this question on how will I know when I have been admitted? always a great question. I'm sure everyone wonders. Once your application is complete and all the supporting documents are received, the School of Engineering will review your application and will make a decision to admit applicants. The admissions decision will be posted on the application portal, so we encourage you to check it. The official notification will be sent to you through the graduate school at Brown University. So you will be getting an official communication, but as you're waiting for that decision to come through, please feel free to check the application portal. Then a common question that we get is around financial aid, and do we have scholarships for master's students? As a whole in general, we do not have scholarships. It's an area that we are building up, but we do not yet really have that area established as much as we do for undergraduate students and PhD students. And the reason why is that many of our master's students who study with us at Brown, their company oftentimes sends them and pays for them, or they're working and they also have tuition reimbursement. So there is financial aid available through federal and other student loans, but we don't yet have the ability to offer scholarships in a broad way. So then there's another question about do we offer research assistantships? So this is a great question, and I think again it shows something special about our program, in that our master's students are really able to engage in research, and that is not common at every master's, at every university or every master's program out there. And so we do have a number of our master's students each year who decide to do the thesis track, and they get into the lab and they're doing research with their faculty member, their faculty advisor. And they could be really great and just doing amazing research and really productive. And then sometimes the faculty member will add them on a research assistantship to give them a funded position in their group. So at many universities, that's not very common, but that does happen fairly frequently at Brown, especially for a master's student who already has research experience. Like I said, they might be doing the thesis track and working in that faculty member's lab. And then later on, they get offered a part-time research assistantship, being paid to do research in that group. And master's students are also eligible. Usually these are the more experienced master's students who've been with us for a year or a year and a half. They are eligible to serve as TAs and part-time TAs helping teach in our courses. And again, especially a course that they may have already taken and done really well in themselves. All right, so I think that covers most of the larger questions. Yeah, I think those most of the other detailed questions are more about the application components, and all of that is best found on our website. So I don't know, do we have any other questions coming in the Q&A? I can't actually see the Q&A while I'm sharing screen.
No,
Yes.
not right now, Jennifer.
We do. I sent it to you in the chat, Jennifer.
Okay, do you want to go ahead and read that to me?
Yes, it says, I have already submitted my application, but I have my final grades for the fall semester that I would like to be considered with my application. Can I send a new transcript?
Yes, yes, absolutely. I think in this case, it would be helpful to go ahead and email us through the email listed on the application and let us know you're doing that so we can expect it. And then we do allow for updates to a person's transcript or GRE scores. We do get both of those as long as they come in the deadline. So we can certainly replace your transcript with your more final transcript as you get your grades right now in December. And we're happy to do that for you. So go ahead, send your updated transcript once you get your grades. And it's always nice if you have a moment to go ahead and email us on the contact email in the application and just let us know your name and that you're sending us a new updated transcript. That's really helpful. Thank you. Okay, well, I think I'm going to start to wrap things up, and we really want to thank everyone for being with us tonight. We really appreciate that you're considering Brown University and the School of Engineering for your graduate studies. And we really are excited and hope to see your applications come in and read and learn more about you. So you can reach us here at enginegrad@brown.edu, or the biomedical engineering program, which is at bme@brown.edu. And also the general email that we have listed here, the master's admissions. We'll make sure that whichever program you're interested in, we get that question to the correct advisor or staff who work on that program. So we're really pleased that you could be with us here tonight. We hope that we were able to answer all of your questions. And unless there's any other question coming in last minute, I think we're all going to sign off and say good night.
There are no more questions.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us, and good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.